back from the storm zone, starting us off with the very latest. Good morning, Ginger.
Michael, I honestly don't think the cap of my hat is dry yet from Sally, and I won't be here very long, unfortunately. It looks like we've got another storm we've got in the Gulf, so Sally moving out, but Tropical Depression 22 should later today become Wilfred. Yes, that is the last in the alphabet.
Yeah, Amy, it was 90 in Providence, Rhode Island. A lot of folks sent to the beach because of the heat, where heat advisories were in New England, but we're talking major heat in the deep south. New Orleans felt like 114 yesterday. We have excessive heat warnings, heat advisories from California to the Florida Panhandle today, and Dallas already had their first 100 over the weekend. You had places like Roswell, New Mexico break their all-time record July high at 111. Then you look at numbers today, they could do to 111 again. Phoenix was 116, a record yesterday. Tucson was 113, so the heat's still staying, and it's all the way up to Redding, who will end up above that century mark. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, though, the select cities, sponsored by Amazon.
Go to Ginger for a check of the weather. Ginger, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. More than 1,000 homes evacuated just west of Evergreen, Colorado because of that wildfire. No containment yet. Erratic winds again today. Back to Utah, where more fires will be burning. San Antonio, Texas, Del Rio, Texas, both under this heat dome, had their hottest July temperatures on record, 107 and 112 respectively. Roswell, New Mexico, hit their all-time July record 3 days in a row of 111. Still very hot, and those advisories go from Florida back up to Kansas City. It's all going to spread east as we go into the weekend. Let's get the Tuesday trivia now, sponsored by the UPS store.
Let's go! It's ABC Thursday, and it's time to get your game on. Don't stop! The most competitive night on television taken to the extreme.
I'll just say it, it's stupid.
A new Holy Moly. Don't. And to tell the truth is enough to make you scream. And just how far will these games go?
So she's on fire.
It's Thursday. Game on.
He rides it dead center.
Let's go! He has a shot. He has a shot.
It's all new tonight on ABC.
Back now with the GMA moment.
Cecilia, 7 reported tornadoes in Wisconsin alone. You can see this video from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. That, and in Illinois, now all of it's moving east. And so we're going to see from Moorhead, Kentucky to Albany, New York, a threat today of not just an isolated tornado, but also damaging winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. Also watching in the tropics, they are heating up, so we could end up with a depression or even a storm eventually here. But what that will mean is heavy rain along the Gulf Coast, Houston through Louisiana. Cecilia?
All right, Ginger, thanks so much.
There is actually one other tropical wave that we're watching, and that one for the Caribbean looks like it would be late week into the weekend that we start to see impacts. All right, your local weather in 30 seconds. First, though, let's go ahead and get your stormy cities, sponsored by Sherwin-Williams. On the side of this mountain, ignite. The Santa Ana danger will be with us for the next 18 hours or so, but it is nothing compared to the more than 300,000 acres burned in less than 24 hours in Washington state and the nightmare evacuations in Oregon.
Overnight, a widespread wildfire emergency spanning 3 states. High winds acting like natural kerosene, fueling more than 50 large wildfires in Washington, Oregon, and California alone. In Oregon, urgent evacuations in Medford. More than 200,000 acres incinerated in that state so far. This parking lot filled with wilted metal and still smoldering roofs. Its car abandoned, its tires melted to the road. Flames still licking at the trees. And overnight in Washington, helicopters dropping fire retardant, desperately trying to mitigate the spreading blaze. Here in California, flames from the Creek Fire, now spanning more than 150,000 acres, continuing to incinerate dry hillsides and trees. Our daily hard time, right there. Smoke inhalation. The National Fire Station was completely destroyed. One store owner vowing to keep his general store open to support first responders. We just get shut down, so we absolutely have to use it. An engineer would get fuel at 3 o'clock in the morning and might say somebody else's loss. The general store, now incinerated. Reduced to burn pillars and a smattering of rubble and ash. The gas station across the street, gone too. Choppers from the Navy and National Guard seen here, swooping down, safely escorting more than 150.
There are endless amazing images. You have to see this one coming from the fire I'm on, El Dorado fire, that dust devil swirling there. And in the Valley fire, an even taller column of smoke being wrapped up. I have to share there are red flag warnings from the Mexican border to the Canadian border. We are not done with this fire threat. We should see gusts here anywhere from 30 to even 60 miles per hour with the Santa Ana winds during the day today. Michael.
Unfortunately, Ginger is far from over. Thank you so much for that. Now we're going to turn to that stunning turn of events. Let's go back to Ginger. Hey, Ginger.
Michael, San Francisco marked its 23rd day in a row of poor air quality, and you can see why on this satellite image. Unbelievable to see those fires blowing from Oregon and Washington all the way down the coast. You are going to be impacted by the fires in some way if you live in these states, and the Santa Ana winds should pick up by sunrise and stay with us here through most of today, gusts up to 55 miles per hour. Let's get the Windy Cities now, sponsored by Sherwin-Williams.
Good morning, Michael. The winds are a little lower, and remember, I just got back, so I wanted to share a couple of photos from my time there. This is from the El Dorado fire, or so we thought. That burned out car, people couldn't tell us and couldn't figure out if it was the El Dorado fire or the Apple fire because they've seen 2 fires within 2 weeks, people evacuating for a second time overnight. And I want to also share these images. This would be the sky cover if you're in the fire. This is my video that I took yesterday, and of course it's smoky there, but even when you are miles and hours from the fires themselves into Los Angeles itself, as I drove to LAX, that brown, murky sky made it all the way there from the Bobcat fire. So it's just something that I think people don't understand. You can't go for a walk, you can't go for a jog all across the West Coast. Robin.
All right, and it is good to have morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Rob. I want to give you a sense of what these fires do to a community like this. That is somebody's charred truck. Right here was a well-tended garden, and just around the bend here, I'm going to show you the remains of a child's bicycle. Now, we talk about how hot these fires burn. Well, hot enough to pulverize a rock. And with our camera up on the crane, I want to show you that this is not just a sliver of a neighborhood or one street, but
it's so destroyed, I can't even find where it was. I can't even point it out.
Then their house. They pick through the debris.
But I just can't believe that the whole thing is gone.
It had been his grandson Andre's first day of school, his prized possession, a keyboard he earned himself.
It was a special gift that he got for learning to ride his bike. So.
It was like a light-up keyboard. It looked very cool, but it was cool.
Such a sweet boy. Now, officials here in Oregon concede they have not been able to survey the damage or get an assessment on the death toll because some of those hot zones are just too dangerous to get into. They're also telling people not to call 911 unless it's an absolute emergency. They don't want those lines clogged up. And the Oregon governor now saying that the next few days are going to be extremely difficult as they try to contain those fires.
Fight here. We're just off of Lake Oroville. two wildfires converged here, and when those flames met, it exploded in the middle of the night. That meant authorities were struggling to notify people asleep in their beds. This home, one of thousands caught in that destructive path. You see that flame still burning, and you can feel the heat still coming out from underneath this wreckage. This fire burned so hot, it melted glass. That means temperatures were around 3,000 degrees. It appears, with little notice, these homeowners tried.
Michael, Western Oregon and Washington State both have red flag warnings, gusty winds to 35 miles per hour and near record highs. All right, let's get the rainy cities now, sponsored by Subaru. It is the peak of hurricane season, and it looks it in the Atlantic. A couple of waves we're watching along the East Coast and for the Gulf. That will definitely add to the moisture in the Northeast for all of our rainfall. But look at Paulette, Bermuda on alert going into early next week. We'll have more on that. But first, coming up, virtual learning getting off to a rocky start across the nation. Technology letting students down.
Ginger?
If I were able to pan the camera just a little that way, you'd say, not only are you in, you have to be in, because it's a mess. We definitely need some organization, so I will be listening. But you all should listen if you're anywhere from Wakefield, Virginia to Trenton, New Jersey, because you're under a flash flood watch. You could see up to 3 inches of rain, or in some spots a little bit more along that stationary front, added tropical moisture. So keep an eye on that, especially there, Delaware, Maryland. You're in it too. Let's go ahead and get it checked now a little closer to home.
Flash flood warnings continue for parts of Nassau County. We also have some very heavy rain in the eastern portions of Suffolk County.
Meteorologist Ginger Zee live in the Gulf tonight. She's in Alabama. You can see the water kicking up there. Ginger, what does the latest track show?
David, we are 24 hours from this making landfall, and you see that bridge behind me? We were thinking we could be live from Dauphin Island, the barrier island there. We had to leave because the causeway was already taking on water. That's how broad and impactful this will be for the next 48 hours. So let me take you to the maps, because not only is the Gulf of Mexico churning here, that storm is more than 100 miles from my southeast, but it is moving west-northwest, and it's slow. That slow movement is going to be key with this track as it makes landfall late tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning, somewhere in eastern Mississippi along that Alabama state line. It's not the line of where the eye passes. It's that broad area that's going to be impacted from Pensacola, Florida, back to, say, Slidell. New Orleans still finds themselves in a hurricane warning, and flash flood watches extend all the way to Birmingham, Alabama. That stationary front's not helping. That's going to act as a little bit of a barrier, keeping it even slower.
Let's go to Ginger. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Michael. Fire weather getting bad again, unfortunately, in California by this weekend. So you're seeing images now. That's the Bobcat fire. That is one of the largest in Los Angeles County history. 39% contained. They've made some really great strides in that, but still burning more than 113,000 acres. Then that newly released video from the Creek Fire, the largest single fire in California state history. That's 34% contained, 289,000 acres. So they're going to have the air quality still a problem, but also winds become a problem as we go into the weekend. Red flag warnings all the way from Colorado to Montana. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, the warm cities, sponsored by Prudential. Chattanooga back to Columbus, Mississippi. Watch for flash flooding. 4 to 7 inches already fell with this back in Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. There's what you're going to get. This all brought to you by Target. George, we've been so busy with wildfires and hurricanes and the news cycle, we haven't been able to do a GMA moment, but I'm ready to let you smile. I think you'll like this one. Listen. Basket. I like the invention. Let's go ahead and get it checked now a little closer to home.